Well done on your progress so far. So this is the third module of our TACT program. And in this one, we wanted to talk about the broader university environment, but in practical ways, and especially as they impact on the experience of teaching, um, which is necessary because the broader environment of the university is rich in research. Ours is a research-intensive university, and it means, of course, that when we're successful, we get research grants and then there are staff changes. And so the whole idea of knowing your team is ever so slightly complicated. It's not the same continuity from year to year that you might expect, say, in a school, where the most that might happen is that certain people go on leave. But it's really quite regular that there are disturbances in a university, and so that kind of consistent team is often not there. Usually, very, very good arrangements are in place, and there's good institutional memory, especially among the professional staff who know all the ropes. But inevitably, there are academic questions that arise, and you wonder who actually has the wisdom if the key person just happens to be away. So um, we live with this, and it's actually quite. It's one of those things that creates the need for a big conversational culture within our teaching group. This is really very, very important. You might be in a small group. This depends on your situation. You may not be one of many in a given unit, but the chances are that there will be lots and lots of other teaching associates around you, even if not in your unit. So we think of this as the team. The team at a pinch can be, the department. Um, so we delve into this in our conversation sims and examine what kind of things you would want to know of an academic nature that may be hard to get if a mentor, as it were, is not just available just when you need it. So we also talk about that topic that's come up a couple of times now about evaluation, teaching evaluations, and the side of the equation that is students evaluating us. A wonderful process. So we'll look at what kind of questions arise. They do vary according to faculty. We at our university we have 5 consistent questions across faculties. Actually, I may as well show them to you right now. There they are. So I find number 2 there to be particularly interesting. But why we delve into this is that the apart from uh, attitudes to unit evaluations being very, very different from staff member to staff member, some people have quite a cynical view of them, and others have a wonderfully creative view of them, and really do amend their programs according to what students say, or countenance it in some way. So we definitely take a positive view of this in the conversation sims that come up. But I'm particularly interested in 2 things. One is the way in which we might think about something like intellectually stimulating, how do we do that? And the other thing is in the suite of quite what I think of as agenda setting questions, and there we've got the list of the first 5. You can see that the unit enabled me to achieve its learning objectives is the first. And my feeling is that if students are unsure about that one, then the chances are they're going to be a little bit less generous about the next. And one question might influence another. If you feel very positive about, yes, the unit definitely enabled me to achieve those outcomes, then the next one you might be a little bit more predisposed to handle positively. So there are a few thoughts about method in relation to unit evaluations. We've got a couple of conversation sims on that topic. The other one that we spend a little bit of time on, I think there are 3 conversation sims, something very dear to my heart, which is the research teaching nexus, as it's often been called. And this is really the overlap or the synergy that might arise between teaching and research. And usually this is conceived in the way in which research can inform teaching. Obviously enough, since the reason we're here is that we've done research and we're capable of thinking of new ideas, matching our intuitions with old stock, and therefore creating a certain rigour in the research endeavour that translates into teaching. But what we seldom think of is that the energy can flow in the opposite direction. That my teaching is wonderful. I'm thinking all the time. I'm thinking afresh. My students make me think things through afresh, even if it's just what is the impediment to understanding something that my students can reveal. So all the time I'm searching my own knowledge. And it's one of the paradoxes that we feel about teaching itself, that when students, for instance, explain something to one another, they learn. And I think that we learn. We learn a lot about the knowledge that we have as we teach, because we're transacting it in a way that opens up our own imagination. I personally have gained a great deal from teaching and have written extensively as a result of what I've thought about in class. So I think it's certainly worth, I mean, a lot of investment goes into teaching in the same way that a lot of investment goes into research. So if these don't help one another, that's a real pity. And we kind of lose capital. It's really lovely if we can make some kind of mutually enhancing profile between the two. That's our wish, and it's certainly worth looking into. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll come back very, very shortly. I think you'll find this a relatively brief session with some professional thoughts. Bye.